Hi everyone, I'm just doing a tutorial for you on using BandLab, and this is an option when you're trying to figure out the tech for your, or the technology for your virtual tag quartet. This allows you to record your audio while listening to the other tracks or the other people's recordings. So it is really, I find, extremely helpful. I like to hear and I like to see, and this allows me to see the waveforms, which lets me line up my insets and my outsets, which is really handy for me. So I'm going to give you a quick tutorial. There's so much I could show you. I'm going to keep this really quick and basic, and you are welcome to contact me if you feel that you need or would like to see a more in-depth video. So first you're going to go to bandlab.com and you're going to create an account. You can do this on your phone too. It is available for iOS and Android. But today I'm going to show you the desktop version, and that is my preferred version because, well, I sit at my computer all day. That's where I live and work doing my business. And so that's really convenient for me, but also because I'm using an external mic and I plug it into my computer, and that will give me better sound than if I were to sing into my computer. Okay, so I said I didn't want to do a 40-minute video, but I think there's a couple of really important things for you to think about. If you don't have an external microphone, please do a test. Do a recording on your computer and check it. Then do a recording on your smartphone or smart device or iPad and check it. And when you're doing those recordings, allow a few seconds of silence, then sing a little bit. Sing loudly, sing softly, then allow a little bit of silence. Then stop the recording. Then what you're going to do is you're going to listen to all of those recordings. Listen to this where there's supposed to be no sound. Do you hear sound? Often you will. That's called background noise, and that's really hard to deal with for people who don't have a lot of technological know-how or expansive, not necessarily expensive, programs that they know how to use. So if you can avoid that, that's fantastic. But most important is that your voice sounds good. So listen to the recording portion of your voice as well. Which one sounds the most like your voice? Which sounds the warmest or the clearest or the most crispest? I'm not sure. But which one sounds the best for your voice? So you're going to want to consider that. And that was a total free sidebar that has nothing to do with BandLab, but it's something that I think people don't think about and people don't mention often enough. If you don't have an external microphone, that's okay. I'll bet your smartphone will do a good job. Probably your laptop or your desktop computer won't do a good job. But like I said, test and see. Choose the best device for your voice. If you are using an external microphone, you are going to want to make sure that you take care of the gain. And I may not remember to talk about this later. You need to adjust the input volume of your microphone so that when you're singing loud, you're not cutting the information off or making crackly sound of your waveform. So if I don't remember to talk about that, and that is something that is a concern of yours, send me an email and I can do something specific to that problem. But for now, we're going to stick with what I'm going to show you, which is the desktop version with an external mic plugged in. Using the app on your phone without an external mic is probably the second best option. So give it a try. Anyway, you're going to go to bandlab.com. You are going to sign up or download the app or whatever you're going to do. Once you've signed up, you will be able to go to the interface. So here it is. And I have several projects already in here. And what you're going to do is you're going to start a new project. Now, to get to this view, I clicked on library. You may be put into feed, you may be put into explore. I'm not sure because I don't remember where you get to see what you see first, but library is where I went. And all projects shows me the projects that I am in charge of, as well as the projects that I'm collaborating on. You may have to go, if someone has already started a project and has invited you, you may have to go to collaborations to find that. You probably will get an email with an invitation, so that's the first place you can look. My projects are the ones that I've started or that I created, so they're in my account. And there's all projects, which should show all. And of course, I've only been the one who started projects because that's my nature. So I don't have anything that is I'm collaborating on that I didn't start. So let's get going on this. Once you have a new project, you're going to choose voice because that's what we're doing. Voice. Now it's going to automatically create a track for you, and you'll see right here it says voice/mic. I'm going to first, there's two tech specific things that you need to do. And that is true if you are using an external mic. First is you're going to go down to input and you're going to select your microphone. So in this case, I'm using a Blue Snowball. Okay, I talked about using external microphones. There are fantastic external microphones available. A Blue Snowball is mediocre, but it does the job. When I use my Blue Snowball, I have less background noise and my voice still sounds okay. So you don't have to invest in a super expensive microphone. And again, if you're using your smartphone, you don't have to invest in a microphone at all. I just happen to already have this one from many years ago. So I'm choosing my Blue Snowball as my external microphone. I can't adjust my input volume at this point. My input volume on my Mac is controlled by my system preferences. That's where you need to adjust your input volume. But as you can see, I'm not peaking out. I'm not getting into the high red area on this. See where it says voice mic in this little box here? I'm not getting really very high at all. So I probably could move in closer to my microphone, which I'm doing now, and you'll see that I'm getting much higher on the peak range. And when I peak, I get this red dot, and that's when I'm going to start clipping my sound information, and you're going to hear awful crackling sounds. I'm going to back away now because I'm sure that was not a treat. Okay, so I've found a distance where I'm comfortable and where I'm reaching like a mid-range in my speaking voice. And if I were to sing, it would probably be a little bit higher in there because there's definitely more harmonics and more sounds that we have when we sing. So that is the first thing I wanted to tell you. Now, if you close this and now you're like, oh my goodness, I need to check and make sure that I had that mic set properly and you can't find it, it's because it's hidden under this dumb cookie bar. So get your dumb cookies. There you go. There's your source. The first time that I closed it and tried to find it, I took like an hour to find it again. And I was doing online help and everything. And I'm a pretty techie person, but goodness gracious, it was hidden under that cookie bar. So there it is. There's my source. I click it and it comes back up. Okay, I'm going to close that again. So that was the first tech setting that you need to do. Again, if you're using your smartphone, you don't have to do that. You can skip this part. The next thing I'm going to do, because I'm using an external microphone, is I'm going to do a latency test. Now, if you've used Zoom, you understand that latency is the thing that doesn't let us sing together, right? So I might be receiving the data or the information at this time and this speed and this whatever, and the person down the road might be receiving it, I don't know, a second later. And that is latency. And that has everything to do with your system setup. So in the case of a microphone and speakers, etc., the system, it takes a millisecond or several milliseconds for that information, the sound, to go from the mic to the hardware. And that causes that delay. Now on Zoom, of course, that has everything to do with what is your internet download speed? What is your internet upload speed? Are you hardwired? Are you on Wi-Fi? All that kind of stuff. We don't have to worry about all that. We're just going to worry about latency. And again, this is because I'm using an external mic. So to do my latency test, I have to unplug my headphones, which I'm going to do now. But I want to mention this because I often forget to mention this. You need to use headphones when you're doing your project. Okay, I'm unplugging my headphones. Great. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my microphone towards my laptop, which is where my speakers are. I'm going to do that right now. And I'm going to make sure that the volume on my computer is up high enough that my microphone can hear the small click sound that my computer is going to make when I run the test. So now I'm going to be super quiet and I'm going to run this test and we're going to see what happens. Wow, my latency is super high today. Usually it is like 6 milliseconds, but it's 195 milliseconds today, which is, par for the course because I've been having all kinds of tech issues today. My mouse isn't tracking right and everything, so this doesn't surprise me. But had I not done that, no matter how much I sang with the track and was right on with the track, I would have never been in sync and it would have been completely frustrating. I'm going to run this one more time just to make sure that that it wasn't a fluke, but I'm not surprised by just how my day is going. Yep, it's pretty bad today. All right, so I'm going to turn my mic around now. Now that I've done that latency correction, it's going to make that correction automatically when I record. So it's going to make an adjustment for the latency. Super convenient, important, and good to know. Yeah. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is, let's say that I'm singing baritone and the lead has already laid down her track. This is true in my case. I'm going to take the track that my lead has done, and let's say my lead has done her track on her phone and sent it in an email to the group, which is totally fine, right? Nobody has to use BandLab. So now I'm going to drag in a track that I happen to have. Okay, there we go. This track is for a quartet that I did during the holiday season. So this is not at all my tag quartet grouping, but I just happened to have it on my desktop and I dragged it right in here. And I'm going to rename this right away so that I know what it is and I don't accidentally use it. Now, plugging my headphones back in. Oh, I almost forgot. Okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a test and then I'm going to pause this recording and check and see that it worked. Okay. So I'm going to create a new track. This track is where I'm going to sing my baritone part. So I'm going to click add track, voice, and you see how this one is gray and the lead track is black? That's what you want. You want to make sure that the track you are recording on is gray. That means it's selected. That means if I hit record, it's going to record on the gray track, not the black track. If I happen to click on the lead track and hit record, it's going to record right over top of her track. And that's not what I want to do in this case. So I'm going to make sure that I click on my track. I'm going to rename it right now. And I'm going to hit record. And because I have her track here, actually I'll start it over here somewhere. Oh, I should mention, there's a metronome and it likes to count in. It's kind of a default right here. See? So make sure you turn that off or you're going to be like, metronome. Okay. So that's done. Now, if I go over here so that there's already sound and singing here, I'm going to click record. My track is selected. I always click my track before just in case, even if it looks selected, because I've done it more than once. There's always undo, so don't worry if you make a mistake, undo. Plus, you already dragged in that track from your desktop or from your downloads folder or from wherever. So you have that untouched track already saved somewhere else, which is a good idea. So I'm going to just click record, and in my headphones, I will hear. It's like in my suitcase I will pack for when you're going on a lion hunt, right? In my headphones, I will hear the lead part. I will be singing, my microphone will be picking up my bari part, my voice, whatever's going into my microphone. So the lead part will not be going through a microphone. My singing, my voice, whatever is going into the microphone will be going onto this track. And that's because I have headphones. If I didn't have headphones, okay, this is a PSA. This is like a big, chunky, fat highlighter. If I wasn't using my headphones, it would record the lead track as well on my track. We don't want that. Please use your headphones. You don't even need good headphones. You just need to put one ear in so you can hear the lead track while you sing. That's all you need to do. And if you put one ear in, make sure the second ear is nowhere near your microphone. Tuck it in your shirt. Hold it in your hand. Do whatever you need to do to make sure that it's not putting sound into your microphone. Oh my goodness, I said not 40 minutes and here I am talking nonstop. Okay, I'm going to hit record. And what I'm going to hear is the lead track and what I'm going to record is my bari track. Now in my headphones, I hear the lead line. I'm talking, so whatever I'm talking and saying is going to be recorded by my microphone. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that back. And what I'm going to hear is both tracks. All right, now I can tell by not only by looking at my waveform, but by listening to the output that I need to increase my output volume. See how small my waveform is compared to my lead's waveform? Let's fix that. I'm going to my system preferences in my Mac. I can't help you for Windows. I have no clue. My blue snowball, and I'm going to pop that way up. And again, I'm having all kinds of system issues today, so it's not surprising that this needs to be popped way up. Okay, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to click on my track because I want to record my track, and I'm going to record right over. And here I'm talking again. Hopefully my volume's a little bit louder. I can hear my lead in my ear, so I'm singing directly with her, and I can see the waveform, so I know when her onsets are, which really helps me to sync up with her. I can also see when she's doing her phrase endings in here, and that helps me to be able to do my phrase endings just as long. Okay, so I can see that my output is a little bit better, but it's still really small. But that's not a problem because I can control my overall output volume here. So if I increase my output volume, I can make my whole track louder. Now, let's say that I did my recording and I messed up a section here, and maybe I messed up a section here. Well, I'm going to show you a couple of options for making fixes that are way less strenuous than doing 4,000 takes. Believe me, I've done 4,000 takes before. So I'm going to click Add Track, and I'm going to call this one something like Bari Fix 1, something like that. It doesn't matter. You name it whatever you want. And let's say this part here, right here where I'm going to be making my fix. Let's say I want to do a ramp up. I want to start singing somewhere back here and I want to end singing somewhere back here so that I have a seamless run at this, so it doesn't sound like, oh my goodness, she just cut and pasted this part in. So I'm going to go, let's say to here. Maybe this is where I wanted to start my ramp up. Click on my track again and hit record. And now I have my ramp up. In my ears, I can hear the lead part and this part where I have the mistake. I don't want that, so let's stop for a second. Okay, I don't want to hear this part. I just want to run at it again with the lead part. Now to do that, I have two options. I can solo the lead or I can mute the bari. I'm going to mute the bari. Now, when I stopped it, it automatically went back to where my playhead was before. That's super convenient. Now this time I'm going to run it again, and I'm going to record with my ramp up. So I'm going to start singing here to fix this part in here or wherever I said it was going to be fixed. So I'm going to hit record. Again, click on my track, hit record. All right. So now I can't hear the bari. I can hear the lead. I'm singing, and now I'm singing that part I made a mistake on, and I'm doing it really, really well. Yay! Okay, so now I could continue to sing, but that other part that I messed up was way down here, and we don't want to spend as much time as doing 4,000 takes, right? So I'm going to move down here, put my playhead down here, and hit record. Now I'm recording way down here. I'm doing my ramp up. This is the part that I messed up, and I did it superbly. Great. Awesome. So now I have 2 good cuts of the parts that I messed up in my full run. And thankfully, those were the only 2 mistakes I did because I'm practically perfect. Right. So in real life, I'd be doing like 40 of these, but for this not 40-minute video, which is almost 40-minute video, I wanted to show you just this part. So of course, if I was singing the same thing, these would look pretty much identical. These waveforms would look pretty much identical. So it'd be super easy for me to then clip the good and replace the bad, right? Now, let's see, how can we do that in a way that's super easy? There's a little plus sign over here, which is the zoom in button, and I'm going to zoom in, and now I'm really seeing those waveforms, aren't I? This was the part I wanted to replace, so I'm going to put my playhead. If I click in this black bar here, it's the playhead. I'm going to click in here, put my playhead in here. I'm going to click on this track because this is the track that I want to cut the bad stuff out of. And I'm going to, actually I can select both of these tracks because I want to clip them both in the exact same spot. So if I push this slice button, it's going to slice both selected tracks at the playhead. If I only had one selected, there we go, it would only slice the one. So I'm going to slice both just because I want to save a little time. And I'm going to the end of that section where the mistake was. And I'm going to, oh, before I do this, I would listen and see, well, maybe this part here is better on my second take. But in this case, we're just going to do this quickly. I've selected both. I'm going to slice. All right, perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the mistake and move the good part right up to fit. And it slides right in there. And I can do the same thing down at the other end. Once I'm done, I'm going to just delete my spare track. And I've got one beautiful, flawless track to then send to the rest of my quartet to use. Now, let's say my quartet didn't want to use BandLab, which again is totally fine. I would click these 3 buttons, 3 dots, and I would export my track as WAV, which means it's going to export only the selected track as a WAV file, and it would select it as one seamless WAV file. Okay, so I'm going to click the 3 dots, export track as WAV, and it's going to export my track only because that's the only one selected as a WAV file. I would then be able to email that to my quartet or upload it wherever, whatever the choice is. But they don't need to use BandLab if they don't want to. Now, if they did want to use BandLab, if you were doing BandLab as a group, 2 things to note. 1, you cannot both use BandLab, or more than one person cannot use this project at the same time. I'm going to click save. Awesome. So it has saved a revision, which is great. I don't publish. Publish makes it public to the entire BandLab world. I don't use that function. Some people do. If you want to all log in at the same time and have everyone take turns, you can use this functionality here, but I can't imagine how boring that would be. In the 2 hours that it takes me to get one good take, you guys would just have to sit there and wait for me, right? So I wouldn't suggest that. But I'm going to exit now. And I didn't even name that project. It's called New Project. That's stupid. I'm going to rename it. So I'm going to go back into Open Mixer, and I'm going to rename this project right here. And this is Tutorial. Perfect. Such a good name. And I don't need to save it because it saved it because it was just a name change. Now I'm going to exit. And here's my project right here. And if I want to share that, no, not share it. I want collaborators. I want collaborators. I don't want to share it. Sharing is like you send a link to someone to listen to, or you post a link somewhere. That's not what I want to do. I'm going to go to my library, and I'm going to my tutorial right here, and I want to invite collaborators. Now I would add my other 3 team members' names in here and invite them, and then they would be invited to this exact project. They would be able to click into the project. So in their collaborations, they would see the project. They would click on it. Then they would click open in Mix Editor. Why isn't that going away? I don't know. It's being crazy. Like I said, I'm having a day with my computer. They would click on open in Editor, Mix Editor, and there it would be. They would then go through the same steps. Create a track. Make sure it's their track they're recording on. Record away. Make sure no one else is using it at the same time. So there went my 5-minute tutorial on BandLab. And I always say more than I intend to, but hopefully it gives you an idea of another way that you can achieve your tag quartet. And of course you can't do video on this, but I believe they now have video capabilities on the phone app. I have not played with it, so I can't give you any information about it. But if one of you wants to play with it and see if it works, and then create a video or tutorial video on how to, once you've created your audio, then do a video, that would be fantastic. I'd love that, and I'll upload it to the playlist we have going on our YouTube channel for resources for doing your quartet recordings. That's it. Bye.